Okay, hello everybody and welcome to another video update, the September edition. It's been a little bit overdue, and this is the second take because the first take I made too many cock-ups and I basically thought, you know what, I can't be bothered to edit out all these, so I'll just do a completely fresh video update. So bear with me, folks. So the timing for this, 20 minutes. That's as much as I'm giving myself. I give myself 15 minutes the first one and I'd already gone over that. So 20 minutes, folks. Let's do it. Let's stick to it today. Okay, so July was the last video update. What's happened since then? I'll go for personal stuff first, because the personal stuff, it's not been the greatest of times, really. It's been a bit up and down. But anyway, August came around. August started with this. As you can see here, as the backdrop to this video update, Baldur's Gate 3 came out, I believe on the 6th of August, maybe? 3rd? 6th? Can't remember now. But it came out early August. It was brought forward. And what a game changer. An absolutely fantastic game that I am absolutely enjoying completely. Took me a little while to get into it, I will admit. It was a little bit overwhelming. 5th edition D&D. I used to play 4th edition, and now, of course, I've played Pathfinder, which is kind of based on D&D 3.5, so I'm very familiar with all that. 5th edition, there's some differences, isn't there? So yeah, get used to the rules, like getting used to the game, the user interface and all that kind of stuff. Again, it for whatever reason, just took me a little bit of a while to get into it. And I remember one session saying, and now I finally am into it. And then when I found those mods that I've got, the camera mod and the WASD movement mod, which makes the game much more immersive and much more in tune with how I like to see the camera working and how much I like to be moving the characters around myself and being able to walk around and control my character myself without pointing and clicking all over the place, has even enhanced it further for me. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it massively. So that was a great start to August. Back end of August, another great experience. The Leeds West Indian Carnival happened, the bank holiday weekend at the back of August. Me, my mother in a wheelchair, my mate, her sister, my mate's friends from work, we all went down early to get a spot to watch the parade. And, you know, mother in a wheelchair privilege, excuse me, wheelchair coming through, she can't see. Gets to the front of the barrier. We file in behind her. We wait about an hour because we're really early to get a spot. I think it might have been even an hour and a half, to be honest with you. But it wasn't a problem. The weather was not massively hot, but it was about 22 degrees. Sun, cloud, in and out. But we were talking. We were in the spirit. The music was playing. The food smells were in the air. People were really jovial. It was a really nice experience. Helped by the fact that we had a hip flask of Woods Navy rum with us. 57%, don't you know? And we also had a bottle each, which was about 6 bottles between us, of our own little homemade rum punch, which was made from Rubicon mango, sparkling, of course, in the bottle, with a triple shot of Woods Navy rum in it, because we wanted a strong rum to put in it to hit the spot. So we had these homemade rum punches that we were drinking whilst we were waiting for the parade, and then to top up, we had just little sips of Woods Navy rum straight from a hip flask, which burns. 57% alcohol going down the throat and into the stomach. You feel it. But it was good fun. The parade came, and the parade, I will say, was a little bit disappointing, I will be honest. The main parade, the Carnival Queen came, and that was fantastic. You know, all the colours, the dancing, you know, that were great. It was just the number of floats. There was nowhere near as many floats as I thought there was going to be. The parade wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. It was literally, we waited for an hour and a half, it came, and then it was gone within 10 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? We just waited an hour and a half for this. The highlight of the day wasn't the parade, but was the fact that when we thought it had finished, the barriers that we were at were being opened for people to come in and out, mainly people coming out. And then when my friend saw this, was like, right, we're going to the park now because we want some food. So the best way to get to the park and the easiest way to get to the park is on the road where the parade has just gone. So security, open the gates, wheelchair coming through. And when people see a wheelchair, they have a bit of a panic attack. So the security guy's like, yes, come on in. Didn't know what to do. Yeah, come in. And then we filed in behind the wheelchair, and then we were walking down towards the park on the road where the parade had gone, thinking the parade had finished. And there were loads of people on the road at this point, to the point where I've got a wheelchair and I can't move any quicker than the people in front of me because you can't mow them down, can you? Well, you could, I suppose, but you didn't want it, obviously. And then to my horror, realised the parade hadn't finished because there was another van coming behind us with music blaring on it and people dancing on it, and in front of it was a police cordon. So I'm looking behind me thinking, shooting hell, we're in the middle of the flipping parade now. So my mother's in the wheelchair, laughing and carrying on. My mate's like, oh, bugger, quick, let's push. So I was trying to push her off the road and out of the way of the parade, but we couldn't because there was just people all over. The police cordon is bearing down upon us. The float is bearing down upon us. At one point, the police cordon was literally a metre behind me pushing my mother until we finally got off the road at the top of the park gates. And I breathed a sigh of relief. I was like, my God. We were literally in risk of holding up the parade there. I say parade, it was just one flow at that point. It just becomes so spread out on its journey. When it got to the end of the journey where we were, right at the top of the park road, it just becomes so spread out. But anyway, so that was good fun. And we got food, paid 30 quid for a bit of jerk chicken and rice. But hey, you know you're going to pay over the odds at these events, don't you? You always pay an extortionate amount, and I wanted to have the whole experience. So we were going to have to pay £10 for this jerk chicken and rice. Fine, it's extortionate, but we're going to do it. It's once a year, and I've never been to the carnival since 2014. I live not too far from it. But I used to I worked it for many years in the police, walked around it as the local community officer for the area, so we were allowed into the park to police it. So that kind of puts you off. When you work an event for several years and you see like the shady side of it behind the scenes that people don't see, it kind of puts you off going in your personal life. But so this was the first time I'd been since 2014, so 7, 8, 9 years. First time in 9 years. I mean, I don't know, we had a good time, and it was because of the company more than anything. And that entire bank holiday weekend, my friend, her sister had come from London to stay for the whole 4 days. We had a great time. It was my friend's sister's birthday while she was up. The day after the carnival was her birthday, so we went out to the pub for her birthday. We were drinking every day. We were laughing, joking, music blaring, cocktails on the go for the whole 4 days. It was a 4-day bender, basically. So that was a great way to end August. We then go into September. September starts very well. First September, 2nd of September was the Friday, and me and my mate went to Portsmouth. I went to Portsmouth in July with work. I thought this is a nice place to come for a weekend break and see it properly. Couldn't really see it properly when you're working. So I said, I'm going to come back to Portsmouth at the back end of this year and do it properly and have at least, a couple of days there where we can explore, to see all the ships, the naval museums, the beach, all the rest of it, and just have a nice chill out. Somewhere different. Never been there. Somewhere different. So that's what we did. On the way down, about 80 miles away from Portsmouth, get a phone call from my mother. And my mother usually rings me for a variety of different things. 9 times out of 10, it's for something that I roll my eyes at. I was like, Mother, I'm driving to Portsmouth, and you're ringing to tell me that you went to my auntie's and she didn't answer the door because she's got dementia. She's in a ward and control flat. I know, you had a great time. I'm like, okay, let's save that for when I'm not driving, perhaps. But no, she was in a panicked state. So I was like, what's happened? What's happened? And it's a bit of a panic for me because I'm like 120 miles away. I'm 150-ish miles away, 170 miles away. It's 250 miles to Portsmouth from Leeds. So I was about 80 miles out. So 170 miles away from Leeds. I ain't turning this car around and getting to you anytime soon. So what is the emergency? Because if it is a genuine emergency, I'm going to be in a panic. And it was our dog. I've got a German Shepherd. She's 12, Tess. I had her since she was 1, bless her. She's had a funny turn. Her head's cocked to one side. She can't walk. She's trying to walk, but she's falling over to the side. She can't. function. She's barely been able to get out of the kennel. She's not eating. She's been sick. My mother thinks she's had a stroke. So I'm saying, well, right, I'm going to ring the emergency vets or ring the vet on the end of the street. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't ring them. I'm too upset. I can't ring. I can't take her anyway because your mum can't physically carry her if she can't walk and she can't take her. There's nobody around. I'm not here. Nobody's here to assist her to get her to the vets. What can I... So anyway, long story short, basically I had to arrange a vet appointment for the Monday, bearing in mind this is a Friday, to take her to my local vet on the end of the street, and prayed to the heavens that she would make it to the Monday, because as much as it might sound bad, I was 80 miles away from Portsmouth. I'd booked the hotel, couldn't cancel it. My friend had paid for her share, I'd paid for my share, petrol's in the car and put in the car, plans were made. I couldn't see myself turning back. And there's always that bit of niggling doubt in my head that my mother's over-exaggerating a bit. Because until I physically see it myself, and my mum can't work a camera phone to do FaceTime or anything, how bad is it really? So it did kind of put a sour tinge on my weekend in Portsmouth. But it was like, well, I can't really do anything about it. So when I get back on Sunday, fingers crossed, she's still alive, and I can assess it then and take it from there. And I will be bringing my mum regularly while I'm there for updates. And if it looks really, really bad and it's a choice that I have to make, then I probably would have come back on the Saturday. But it didn't happen. Thank God, and all that kind of stuff. But what did happen was on the Saturday whilst I was in Portsmouth and having a fantastically good time. It was 22, 23 degrees, sunny, exploring all these sites. We must have walked about 10, 15 miles. We walked all over to the beach, to the ships, to the museums, to Whale Island. We were walking here and everywhere, taking it all in. Had a fantastic time. My friend bought some flipping sandals for Mexico, where we're going in 5 weeks. Did some shopping. So yeah, all in all, I had a good time. But on Saturday, I ended up with a bit of a scratchy throat, headache, a bit sniffly. I thought, I'm getting a cold. I thought, for God's sake, I'm always getting these damn colds. Flipping hell. I had one on holiday in July, if you remember. On the cruise, I got a bit of a cough and a cold. I had to buy some Italian cough medicine. But by Sunday, we were on the way back home to come back home to Leeds. Set off relatively early, I think about 10 o'clock-ish, because I had football to get back for, so I had to get back for 4. Felt much better. I had a McDonald's breakfast. Still a bit of a scratchy throat, but the headaches had died down. Played football on the Sunday, and then by the Sunday evening, after playing football, half an hour game, I stepped outside. It was about 23 degrees. It was a warm day. Stepped outside, and literally from stepping 1 foot outside of the football building, I suddenly just had a massive shiver go right down my spine, and I started shaking. So obviously I was wearing a football top, which was stuck to me with sweat, so I had to take that off and drive home without a shirt on, because I forgot to bloody bring a spare shirt in my rush having got back from Portsmouth. And I was shaking, physically shaking. Had a very light tea, and then went to bed, for me, early, about 10:30, because I thought, I don't feel too good. And then for all that evening, all in bed, all night, tossing, turning, sweating profusely, hot, cold. The bed covers were wet through, the pillows were wet through, to pyjamas. I'd changed my top about 4 times in the night because it was just lathered. And I thought, oh no. Oh God, no. That was some of my thoughts. 4th of September now is Monday. I've had this horrendous night. I'm pulling a Gale here. Story time. 20 minutes is not happening. I'm just thinking I'm streaming in about an hour and a half. I'm just thinking, this video's not going up today. It's going up tomorrow now, this video. But anyway, what was I saying? So 4th of September, I've had this horrendous night. 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, I'd have woken up on that morning and thought, I am not working today. I can't even get out of bed out there. I feel like I've been beaten with a stick. My muscles are aching. I've been sweating profusely. I'm still shivering now. I've got a headache again, and I think I might know what this could be. I'm not sure, but this feels pretty bad. I've got trainees to induct. So basically, I am a manager where I work. I have my own team. But when trainees come en masse, I move sideways. I ditch my team. They go and get managed by somebody else. And I move sideways and become a training manager and manage the trainees through their training period. Because I love training, I love it. You know, I was a former teacher, so I like teaching, educating people. I was a mentor in this job previously, and I was also a mentor for GCSE students. So I like kind of guiding people, supporting them, helping them with their training, and getting to shape and make sure they're up to the right standards. So love it. So 4th of September started in that training manager role, and I will be in that role probably for the next 12 months, which suits me perfectly fine because I absolutely love it. So work, absolutely fantastic. Really happy at work at the moment. But my manager was away, my manager's manager was away, my manager's PA was away, and there were about my fellow training manager, because there's two of us, was away on holiday. Another couple of managers in the function were away, just general managers, which meant that literally, as I laid in bed at like 6:45, due to start at 7, feeling like horrendous, thinking to myself, I can't go off sick. There's nobody that I would entrust at this late hour to be able to induct these trainees. They are logging on at 9 expecting me to greet them. If I go off sick now with no manager's manager to arrange any cover, they're going to be sat there. Where is everybody? Why has nobody greeted us? Can you imagine that as your first day in a new role? Nobody greets you. I mean, yeah, I was ill, but not too ill that I couldn't at least hold a half an hour meeting with them all in a group to say, look, this was supposed to be individual inductions, but I'm ill, so I'm inducting you all together in this half an hour meeting. This is what you need to do. This is the e-learning you need to set off on, blah, 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 blah. When I feel better later in the week, I'll check in with you one-to-one. Get them set off, at least somebody sees them. But I was already getting up anyway, because I had a 10 o'clock appointment at the vet's. Remember, Tess is not well. When I came back, my mother wasn't exaggerating. She was as bad as my mother had made out. So yes, we were going to the vet, so I had to get up anyway. So that was like, well, if I'm getting up for the vets, I might as well work as well. So as horrendous as I felt, inducted him, got a shower, had something to eat, went down to the vets with Tess. Put a mask on, because I didn't know what it was, but I was almost, this felt like 2020 to me. You know, and nobody else could take Tess to the vets. My mum can't take her, my mum can't walk her, can't handle her, so I had to go. Anyway, the vet said, could be a stroke, but it also could be something called vestibular syndrome, which affects old dogs. My dog is 12. So, you know, they get better with it. You know, 2 to 3 weeks, they get better. They're never 100% again, but they're not as bad as they first appear when it happens. They get attuned to it, get adjusted. It just tends to happen to older dogs, or can happen. So wait 2 to 3 weeks, see if she improves. If she does, it's vestibular syndrome. If she doesn't, it's probably a stroke, and then you know how to proceed, kind of thing. So we're like, okay. Went away, and thankfully, she has improved to 70% of what she was. But at least she's better in herself. She's more jovial again. She's barking. She's running. Let's say running around, but she, when you go out to see her, and obviously every day, and walk her, and you can still tell she's unsteady, but she's more buoyant. When I saw her on Sunday, and it obviously first happened to her, she was mopey, miserable, tail between legs. You can tell when your dog is not right, can't you? You've been with her for 11 years. But now she's much like her old self, minus a bit of mobility, which is sad to see still, but at least she seems much happier, and it has improved. So that was that. So then I've got, right, I better go take a test. Because I wasn't going to go into the office anyway, even if it was just suspected I wasn't going into the office. And I wouldn't ordinarily test. But I was going to Amsterdam on the Friday, 8th of September, for my mum's bloody birthday. So, lo and behold, tested. It was the dreaded C word. Sorry about that. So, yes, I was going to Amsterdam on the 8th, booked. And I know we've got travel insurance for these kind of situations, but it was my mum's birthday. I was like, oh my God. Tested positive. What am I going to do? So I had to tell my mother, obviously, tell my friend and her sister who were also coming with us, and I was like, look, if I test positive on the day, we're going to have to cancel it, because I can't in good conscience get on a plane full of people, some could be vulnerable, and start coughing and spluttering and spreading my germs about, and don't really wish to give it to any of you guys. So, they went, well, for us, I don't care. We don't care. I said, well, I wouldn't feel great doing that. So we have to have a contingency, and the contingency is we're going to have to cancel, because there's no other contingency. Anyway, to cut a long story short, 20 minutes already, I felt better by the Wednesday. It came and went very quickly, and the line had already gone very faint by the Wednesday, and by the Friday it had gone completely negative. So I was like, right, bingo, let's go. Tested negative, we're off. I did have a mask on, just out of courtesy when on the plane in the confined space, but ultimately we got away to Amsterdam, which was great news for my mum's birthday. It was 32 degrees for the 3 days that we were there, all day Friday, all day Saturday and all day Sunday, because the flight was very early in and very late out, so we had a full weekend, festivities and meals and fun and just a grand old time. Alcohol and the occasional bit of cake as well. A canal boat tour, people watching, enjoying the weather, getting a tan, mastering the metro system again. It was a fantastic 3 days. It really, really was, which ended what was, as you can imagine, with tests, with my diagnosis of the old dreaded C word, and the new training role with no support from one of the managers because everybody's off and I'm feeling ill and I have to induct these trainees feeling under the weather and all the rest of it, and worrying about am I going to get to Amsterdam in the first place, was a nice end to what was a very stressful week. And then the rest of September was pretty much quiet after that, thankfully, until 3 weeks ago, back in September. A few personal life developments, which I won't share at the moment, but you may have noticed 3 weeks ago I cancelled a stream at the last minute and said, look, I've got some issues going on at the moment which I'm not feeling the best shape with, so I had to cancel the stream last minute. I don't usually do that. I cancel the stream on the day or the afternoon or the day before or whatever, but not like half an hour before the stream was going to start, or 15 minutes was going to. It was quite close to and I was like, can I motivate myself to stream this evening? I'm not physically unable to do it, but mentally I'm not in a good place. So I had to just call it because I couldn't have done it. I was not right. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this personal life development over the next few weeks as to whether or not I disclose anything further. But it's not health related. It's nothing serious. Don't worry about that. But yeah. Things happened, which elation, and then but anyway, you might be able to guess. Who knows? Maybe put your guesses in. Don't put your guesses in the comments. No, don't do that. Somebody might come up with some really weird and wonderful things. But anyway, so I'm in a much more stable part now, quite stable now after. September. Whew. And we now face the crux of this video update. Long overdue, past 20 minutes now. And that is the channel, of course. So, Baldur's Gate 3. Started off this video update, I think, because this is a rerun. So did I mention this in this version? Probably, I think I did. About how game-changing this game has been and how much I'm enjoying it. It's going to be a really, very long game as well. But it got me thinking what's happened to me recently, more recently particularly, which has caused me to have to cancel the stream last minute and has made me feel a bit down at times. And in general, 18 months ago, my friend came back from London, so I see her every Friday, Saturday night. So my Friday or Saturday night streams that I used to do stopped. And times have gone recently where I've not been able to stream as often. September, I think I did 7 streams or videos, whereas the month before, in August, I think I did 20. That's less than half of the month before, so obviously that gives you some indication to how bad my September was, really, in terms of up and downness. So I've had to do a bit of a think let me just log off this. No, I'm logged on my machine for work, but I have finished. But I was waiting for an email that I wanted to do and finish before I shut it down, and it's still not come yet. Although I am not, I have logged off technically. Age-old thing. When you log off, you should be logged off. You shouldn't be logged off on finished work and then still checking your work computer or your work phone, because you're not off work, are you? You're still mentally engaged. You should log off, is what I tell my staff, and I'm not practicing what I preach here. But anyway, where was I? Yes, I was talking about the channel. So, the channel, I have had to do some thinking, right? Some thinking about how I want to proceed with the channel going forward to make it so that I'm not getting stressed about letting people down, about not doing certain things or not putting for certain videos up or not being as regular as I would like to be because of personal stuff getting in the way. I'm getting older now, and my propensity to be able to dive into things and get things done and juggle 5 LPs at a time, it's just not going to happen anymore. A, I don't have the time, and B, I don't have that kind of that energy as a 26-year-old would have naturally. And you've got to be realistic with these things, and things are happening now that perhaps didn't happen then. Change of shift pattern, more responsibility at work, and more responsibility outside of work with certain things. So I had to do some thinking, and the thinking that I've come to is, I think the way that the channel should proceed onwards for now, and we'll trial this until the end of the year, is rather than doing 2 main LPs with a side LP or 2 thrown in between, I think for me to give a proper pacing to an LP, a main LP, such as Baldur's Gate, which is going to be a long game anyway, but take your Three Kingdoms, take your Pathfinders, take your Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacies, and all these other games that are waiting in the wings. These are all main, long, meaty games. In order for me to enjoy them more, and in order to me to do them a good service in terms of keeping the pacing of the series up without 10-day breaks, which means that I have to then come back and remember, what the hell did I do 10 days ago? What the hell are the keys? What the hell do I do? It was 10 days ago I played this, because I've played another 3 games since then, and also had some time doing other stuff. And now I'm back here at Baldur's Gate 10, 12 days later thinking, what the hell do I do? There's been another hotfix since then. The mods are broken. So I'm thinking that the plan is to actually stick with 1 main LP. And a main LP is your RPG, your strategies, the main bread and butter. And then 1, maybe 2 side LPs. The kind of games that you can just pick up and put down really easily. Your shorter games that aren't as complex, that aren't as in-depth, with great swaths of mechanics to have to remember. You can kind of pick it up a short notice and just give it a blast. And a game that lasts no more than 15 to 20 hours. Something that you can just get through when you need to do a quick impromptu stream, or a quick game that you can just stream on a Monday or whatever, to give people a chance to catch up on the main LP, the mainstream series, or the main LP series. Because one of the things about sticking to 1 LP, mainstream, whatever, main series, if you will, is that as much as I might be able to stream it on Sunday night, stream it on Monday night, impromptu stream it on Wednesday if there's no football, maybe even on a Thursday, that's a lot of content for that 1 game. So if you miss that, one of them streams, or you haven't had a chance to catch up yet, you're going to start to feel like, it's going through this really quickly, and I haven't watched episode 14 and he's already streaming episode 17 now. I mean, you're going to start to fall behind yourself. So there's going to be a degree of pacing that's not going too fast that you can't keep up with it, but that's not too slow that you're wondering, where's the next video coming? Where's the next stream for this game? So I'm thinking, if I stick with 1, and have another side series, or another couple of side series, depending on what those side series are, it allows me to keep a good pacing with that main LP and fill the gaps to allow you to catch up when necessary as well. And I think that is a better balance for my current circumstances, and that will allow me to continue doing this and continue enjoying this. If I start adding a second main series now, and it's not just because it's Three Kingdoms, I know it's a meme by now, but in all seriousness, I couldn't even start, as much as I would love to start, say, Path of the Righteous or whatever, or second season of CK2 or whatever. I just don't think I can give enough time and energy to two big series at the same time at the moment. So, this is not me saying, oh, I'm winding down into retirement here. Oh, I'm falling out of love of LP and streaming. It's just time management at the moment with me, and I've had boards on there which keeps falling off and it's damaged my plugs because I'm using blue tack instead of screws to try and keep me on task and make sure that I do tasks, and it's proven difficult at the moment. So I think until there is a time where I have more time on my hands, I think one series at a time, main series, with side series interspersed to break things up a little bit, give you some other stuff to watch, to keep other things ticking over, so it's not just one series for 6 months and nothing else on the channel. I think that's going to be the best bet. And that's what I've realised over the past sort of 2 weeks, especially after what happened to me just 3 weeks ago, and I had to cancel the stream last minute. It's like, I need to take stock of everything that's going on in my life at the moment. So, yeah. That does mean that Three Kingdoms isn't starting at the moment. Shock horror here. But it does mean it will be starting after we finish Baldur's Gate. Now, the thing with Baldur's Gate is it's a long game, 200 hours, so I'm thinking, do I split this into half? Maybe get to end of Act 2, because I think there's 4 acts, isn't there? Get to end of Act 2, and then pause this, and then do something else, and then come back to Baldur's Gate and finish the second half off, or just do it all in one go. I can kind of play with that idea down the line, see how things are going, and what engagement is like in terms of, are you still enjoying it, or should we take a break and freshen it up a bit? That's to be debated. But for now, we will continue with Baldur's Gate 3, streaming it as often as I can. But if it gets a bit too much, and I feel like I could give you a bit of a break from this now so you can catch up with the VODs, I'll stream something else for a couple of days, or whatever else, record a couple of videos of something else, of what I'm playing on the side. That's a bit less intense. I think that's the way I'm going to go with it. We're going to trial it until December, so it gives us about 3 months to see how it goes, and you can give me your feedback as well to see how you think it's going, in terms of pacing, in terms of content, and whatever else. So that's the way I see it going. Yes, Three Kingdoms will definitely replace will definitely replace Baldur's Gate 3, but it will need Baldur's Gate 3 to finish, because that's the stance that I'm now taking. So let me know your thoughts, but I mean, ultimately, I do this, and I've done this for such a long time because I enjoy it, and I do what I want to do. And I'm just thankful you guys come along for the ride. So I have to do this. It is with a heavy heart, because I don't like to pare things back, but I think I have to. I have to at this moment in time. So that's the way the channel is going. So Baldur's Gate 3 will be continuing on, of course, in earnest, and hopefully we'll all continue to enjoy Volpus's adventures, Bam Bam's Adventures 2, that is the side series that is accompanying this, but there will be a second side series of a different game, and I think the first side series is actually going to be, rather unexpectedly probably, Democracy 3, because I still wanted to do, and I still want to do, another playthrough, because we didn't succeed in the playthrough. Did I say Democracy 3? Is it Democracy 4 now? I think it's Democracy 4, right? Isn't it? But the latest Democracy game, the one that I played last time and failed because we didn't get re-elected. But that one, I want to play it in a different country, and I want to play it like a bit of a consensus thing where you guys can help out with the decision making for the policies and stuff, a bit more of an interactive second playthrough where you guys can maybe vote on some changes, vote on some things, and have a bit of fun that way. So that's probably going to be my side series to accompany this and Bam Bam's Tale, and that's probably going to start in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you'll join for that, because I think that could be some good fun. But yeah, so that's the channel update. Nothing else to update you with really other than that. So yeah, until December at least, Baldur's Gate 3 all the way, Bam Bam's Tale on the side, Democracy 3, and then after Democracy 3, because that will take 3 months clearly, it'll take maybe 2 sessions, 3 tops, we'll have to look at another side series game to take us, towards kind of Christmas time. And of course the Christmas party stream will be happening this year as well. So there's still lots of stuff to look forward to. But yeah, I do have to obviously send my apologies for the fact that, we are slightly scaling back on the number of series that I can do at the same time, especially big projects like Baldur's Gate, for example. So there you go. There's 34 minutes of me wittering on there. It's supposed to be 20, but hey, I don't know why I do this to myself. It's almost like I do it on purpose for a laugh now at this point. 20 minutes? No chance. But hey, let's just give it a try. Anyway, so go forth, enjoy the rest of your day, folks. You'll be seeing this, because I won't get this up before I do my impromptu stream of Baldur's Gate today, so you'll be seeing this on Thursday. Feel free to leave any comments at all. Any comments at all you wish to leave, leave them, and I shall respond in due course. But until next time, folks, have a good one. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for participating, thanks for being part of the community. It's always a pleasure interacting with you in streams and on the Discord server. So, yeah, until next time, see you soon.